think that this cast is really, you know, what I hoped for when I was doing, you know, vision statements, and when I was, you know, writing down what I thought about the play and what I wanted it to look like. So we have, you know, Auntie Lynette Narkle, who did the very first production in '85. So she's done all of Pop Jack Davis's work. She's been in the theatre for longer than I've been living, and, you know, just having her on the floor during rehearsals, I'd say one thing and I'd go, I'm looking for something like this, and she'd go, sorry, and then do something totally better, and I'd go, that's why you have veteran actors. That's why you have these professionals in the job. And between her and George Shevtsov, who's a stalwart in Perth theatre, who's you know, when I did my first play as an 11-year-old, he was performing in that as well. So we did Waiting for Godot together as you know, in 1993. I was 11 and he was acting. So, I mean, having George and Auntie Lynette on the stage really gives us that high quality, and really makes it, you know, gives out a statement that we're back to really make some really good theatre. And then we have, you know, some a newish face. She's done some work for Barking Gecko, but Philip Wally-Stack, who's been playing our didgeridoo and who's been, you know, excellent bringing some of this music together and the dance, and, you know, he's becoming a bit of a personality in the Noongar community, because he's releasing his albums, he's doing a lot of dancing, and, you know, he's someone that's very lively and someone that, you know, has excellent comic timing. He got the part down pat within a week, and, you know, it's just been an absolute pleasure to work with him, because he actually brings out a lot of that good humour and makes the work environment fun. You know, I don't believe slogging and making things difficult to produce a play is not the right way of doing it. It's got to be fun. You've really got to have that energy and passion for it, and to do that you need to enjoy it. So that's, you know, Philip Wally-Stack really brought not only the character to life, the music to life, but also brought the whole rehearsal period to life. And then we have the two main characters, which is Katya Shevtsov, which is George Shevtsov's daughter. So our father and daughter are playing a father and daughter. I think I lucked out with that sort of casting in that one. And Ian Wilkes, who's this is his first professional production, but definitely not his last. He's you know, a young guy with a lot of talent and a lot of charisma, and he really is, you know, going to make a career of it. And Katya Shevtsov is absolutely perfect, Peggy. I could not even imagine having anybody else in the room with me, because she'd done ballet as a 6-year-old, just like the character Peggy, and I mean, the knowledge that she brings about classical Western dance to the floor, and her enthusiasm, and just how hard these two young people worked, it really brought, you know, it really lifted the whole game, lifted the quality of the whole show, just from these guys working together. And they really worked hard on the dance, and they're a pair of beautiful dancers, and also a pair of good actors that really, you know, came together and really worked well together. So it's been an awesome experience, and I think the cast is absolutely absolutely nailed a lot of the feelings and thoughts that I had on this play. And, you know, after the second week, I wasn't directing. You know, the guys had already established, you know, what the characters were, what the rhythms were, what the sounds and the dances were, and they really just ran with it, and we just basically just put it all together from, you know, being on the same page. So it was you know, a really good experience, and I think that, you know, we've pretty much put together a show that the community will like, but also that, you know, that we're all very, very happy with. It's about a young girl and a young boy who grew up in the forest, and you know, the young girl's father is the forest ranger, and so, you know, he has to look after the forest with, you know, with the government regulations. And in the forestry cottage down the road, inside the forest, lived the Winalis, the Aboriginal family, with the mum, Tim, the young boy, and cousin William, who's a didgeridoo maker, which sort of rubs on the wrong side of the ranger, because he's out trying to stop people from cutting down trees, and the you know, cousin William is saying, you know, they're trees. That's what you do to them. It's that you make didgeridoos out of them. You know, you care for them philosophically, not so much literally and physically trying to stop them from being cut down. You actually look after the whole species of trees as a whole. You know, the idea that instead of, you know, don't cut down trees, look after the forest that way, is a very material and very physical way of looking at forestry conservation, where one of the philosophies in Noongar conservation is that you actually give your children one of these trees. You actually say, your name is, by example, Timothy Jarrah, and Jaral is the Noongar name for Jarrah tree. So if you've given that kid a name of a tree or a plant or an animal or a river, that, you know, you just naturally will grow up loving that tree or that river, and you will, you know, look after it. You will take care of it. It'll be a part of your family. You know, my name is Kyle James Morrison, and that's named after my uncle, my dad's older brother, and I love him dearly because he's my namesake, and I've, you know, I've been giving his name as a, you know, mark of respect for him, as a mark of respect for my family, and also, you know, the love that my dad has for my uncle. And I've actually inherited that because that's my name. If you're given the kid a name of a dingo or a chudich, which is the native cat, or a possum, the kids are going to be loving that possum. You know, they're going to really want to know more about it. They're going to want to look after it, and it's that love of your country and the animals in it that will actually help save it. And it's not, you know, so that's the, you know, there's a difference. You know, the philosophy is more spiritual and more esoteric, and the you know, the government sort of way of looking at it is you just don't cut it down, leave it to its devices, and it's you know, they both work, they both will have their merits, and they both have their ups and downs, but it's just, you know, highlighting some of those differences. And we also look at, you know, the different cultural aesthetics for dance, and how Peggy is a ballet dancer, and she wants to do an end-of-year performance, so she enlists the help of the Indigenous people. And so it's really interesting finding all the similarities that you know, in our cultural aesthetics and our artistic aesthetics, because, you know, ballet is such a graceful and flowing style of dance, and Indigenous dance, Noongar, or Nyambi in particular, is actually more of an earthy sort of rhythmic dance. And what we found is by blending these two together, there's so many similarities, and there's so many, you know, I mean, I suppose through styles and storylines that there's some parts in the dance that you don't know who's doing what style of dance. And it's also that love of dance, that, you know, love of telling stories through dance, that really, you know, allows us to blend them together, because you've got two very different styles of dancing, but at the heart of it and the principles of it, they're still the same. And it's really, you know, showing that our two cultures, through our similarities and not our differences, are going to bring us together. And it's, you know, it's not even looking at the differences. It's going, the differences are there, but it's these similarities, and it's our common humanity and the common beauty of our two dances that actually bring them together and make them similar. And you don't realise that until you really delve into it, and you really see that you know, any artistic cultures are, you know, we're all human, and we all share the same love of you know, universal elements and things like that it's really easy to look at the similarities and you know, our common humanities that bring us together instead of tear us apart. So it was really nice. I cried.